Guys, welcome back to the channel. We're going to talk today about about a different idea as far as your spotter and your crew chief goes. I know a lot of people use the default iRacing ones. I've used crew chief for most of my iRacing career, but I found a new one today, or well, I shouldn't say today, I should say about 2 weeks ago, called DRE, or Digital Race Engineer. I think it's a solid alternative, but we're going to get into a few things and I'm going to show you why I think that is. So let's go on and check this thing out. Okay, so this is Digital Race Engineer as a whole. I'll put a link in the description down below as to where to find it. Before we jump into a session, I figured I'd just show you guys kind of the back end of all of this. It does pull your information from iRacing, so it makes things a little bit easier to get working, that sort of thing. But this is the main dashboard of it. You can see we've got duration, so how long you've been using it for, how many laps you've done, your distance, your last race, how many commands it's given, or how many commands you've given it, the latest practice, you know, if you were in a ranked practice, as well as how many alerts it's given you. And these are all key, the commands and the alerts. We'll get into that here in a minute. So if you come over to analytics, this will usually give you, if you weren't in a practice, it'll give you everything out of your last race or official practice. It won't give you test sessions, stuff like that. And since that's what I've been doing a little bit here, we don't have that information yet. It'll also do your fuel, your tires, any pit info. And then we come over to log, which this is fairly empty right now because I've just started it up. But it'll give you anything in the log that it says to you. The waiting on iRacing, it gives you a little sound in your ear that, hey, it started, we're waiting on iRacing to boot. Then it'll talk to you, it'll say good afternoon, your name. It pulls your subscription info, which we'll get into the subscription stuff here in a little bit. And then obviously there's, you know, my microphone is on. Now there is tons and tons of customability or customization that you can do to this. I'll make this a little bit bigger so you can see more of it. I haven't even scratched the surface on adjustment with this thing yet. It will ask you when you install, how do you want to set it up? Do you want to set it up more for sports car? Do you want to set it up more for oval? I have mine set to oval. So that's something to think about there as well. But you could turn on alerts, chimes, all sorts of things. You can have different things in your race info, gridding, your racing, post-race, it'll give you a summary. It does have a weather update, which is the reason that I decided to move away from crew chief and go to this. And you can adjust how often that updates, if you don't want it to update, if you don't even want it on. It'll give you, you could set up different things. So if you're outside of the car, or if you're announcing even, you can have this on and it'll do some various different things that I haven't even messed with here either. This does have marked drivers, and of course I can't spell. I've been meaning to fix this for a couple of days. But you could put, like I have JD in here, I have him marked as a friend, so when we're in session together, it'll say marked driver, and then it'll rattle off however many people you've got. As far as the car, it gives you all sorts of various things. It does show up as Celsius. I have not found a spot to change that over to Fahrenheit yet, but it will read to you in Fahrenheit. So keep that in mind. There's some various pedal hang stuff. And I've found that it gives you warnings based on your actual sim pedals. So like if your gas pedal, you can do gear shift confirmations, which if you've seen any of my live streams lately, I may turn this on. Your overtaking, which is really, really cool. There's this spot that says place in 3D. So if you've got a car high, it'll alternate between ears. If the car is low, it'll be on this side. If the car is high, it'll come from the right side. So you've got that audible cue of, hey, this car is to my right or to my left. I'm really, really digging that. As far as proximity, you can adjust this as well, like how far the car is behind or in front that you want to know about. Faster cars. There's pit window exit scanning saying, okay, you've got a car within this close. Be careful when you're coming back onto the track. And then there's various different modes. You can have it ping when you're in the DRS zone, if you're using DRS, that sort of thing. As far as fuel, again, all customizable. You can adjust your auto fuel. You can have it give you buffer laps. If you want to just top up, how much to give for a green-white checker. I have auto fuel disabled, but you can set it up to control that as well. Same thing with low fuel. You can also force, and this is very good for you guys that forget to change out of your qualifying setups, the grid fuel. It will grid with a minimum grid fuel percentage, and it will set it. I don't have ultimate, so I can't adjust that. But and then there's your fuel target, which is going to be more your sports car stuff. All right, so now we get over to pit stuff. You can adjust, you know, if you want it to chime out, hey, the class leader's pitting, overall leader's pitting, and if your opponents are around the pit lane, you can enable a pit speed approacher. It's like a chime in your ear. Any changes, it'll rattle off, hey, we're going to put 4 tires on, fuel, all of that stuff. It'll also announce that the pit speed limiter is on. It'll tell you if you're speeding. It can give you an audible ping if you're speeding, that sort of thing. It'll give you everything to go, or everything as far as when you're in the pit stall itself. And repairs it'll give you as well. The other thing that I really liked, and I forgot to touch on, is this pit countdown type. It'll start a countdown at 10 seconds out, so it'll count you down 10, 9, 8, 7 as you're getting closer. Also very handy. You can change that between time or NASCAR based. So, right, so now we're on to performance. So again, it'll give you a lot of information. It'll tell you like the position ahead. If you pass it, what you'll get for iRating, which is kind of neat. What your opponents are losing. Again, I've got some of this enabled, some disabled. It'll give you an average over your lap times, however many laps you want to set for an average. It'll give you a tire wear warning. It'll tell you when there's what your next lap probability is. You could set it to warn you for drivers who have low iRating. If you do a lot of officials, probably not going to be a big deal, but if you're in hosted or something like that, it will rattle off sector last optimals. You can have sector drop-offs, last best in class, and vulnerabilities. It'll also give you any sort of position changes, estimated projected positions, again, fully customizable. It does tell you when there are off tracks, if you're high on your incident level, stuff like that. It'll also give you a delta on your all sorts of different things, quite honestly. Now we're kind of into, with this is all your kind of customizations, if you will, when you get into the sound section. So you can set your input device, whether it's, you know, your boom mic, your headset mic, however you want that to work. You set up a push to talk button, and and then you can set it up for how long, like if you don't release it, how long before it stops listening. And it'll tell you, if you have this turned on, it'll tell you when it's ready to listen. I haven't messed with any of the settings for like the input gain, VAD sensitivity, none of that. The recognition is how well, because this uses Windows voice recognition, how well it can hear you. If it doesn't hear you that well, go into the Windows voice recognition stuff on Windows, you know, talk to it, read a book for 10 minutes and let it pick up your voice and how it's detecting it. This will help tune it, but again, any way that you can make it to where it better understands you with the mic that you're on is always the best, right? Output, again, however you want it to come to your ears. You can set your volumes, your effects, all sorts of different things here. The fun one is the personality, which is the player slang chants. I have it set up to 100. It'll give you some pretty funny ones. It's not as good as the Jimmy Johnson spotter pack. Sorry if that's what you're looking for. It's kind of lacking there. But it'll give you some goofy ones every once in a while. You can have it mute when you're busy on road. The one thing I do have enabled that is kind of handy is if I'm in Discord or if, you know, somebody's talking in race, you can have it mute everything else when DRE is speaking to you, which is handy. And it can bring that down so you can at least hear your race engineer. You can have it set the ambience volume, so that's like if you're in garage, you'll hear cars go by, which is kind of neat. You'll hear the pit lane through the mic or something like that. And then these are just your startup sounds, your connection sounds, that sort of thing. As far as controls go, you can set up push to mute, push to talk, traction control on. These are all buttons you can program however you want it, if it's on your wheel or if it's on your keyboard. There's all sorts of stuff here. It will grab your iRacing controls and stuff like that for different things, so you don't really need to mess there. There's also some command binds that, again, I haven't messed with at all. Now, there is a whole heap of voice commands for this. I suggest that any of them that you would think that you're going to need, write them down, get used to them, make sure you get the right syntax for it. I'm not going to go through all these because it would take me all day, but you can do things like say no tires, it'll clear the tires. You can say no fuel, it'll clear the fuel. You say full service, it does everything. You know, so if you were in a wreck early in the race and you don't need tires because all you want to do is fix the damage, you can say no tires and come in and away you go. There are some custom ones. I haven't messed with that. And then you can manually disable various stuff. Obviously changes is the latest change fix stuff for Digital Race Engineer. Updates, they do have a Discord. I suggest you look into that. Account is just what version you're on. Essentials is literally bare bones minimum. Like I said, I use the performance one. It gives me quite a bit of information. It's $6 a month, so it's not horrible. But if you wanted to just stay with the free version, you could easily do that. Ultimate will give you some crazy extreme voice quality and wind gusts. That's all I got on that. I couldn't see the need to adjust. And then the last but not least, before we get in the car so you can kind of hear what it does, again, more adjustability, how you want the app to start up, if you're male, female, if you're not, there's all sorts of things. You can set different Windows stuff, updates. They will let you do an alpha or a beta test for them. You can connect your iRacing to this very easily, which if you do it, it will give you more up-to-date information faster. I highly suggest that. That's what I did. again, you can change time formats and stuff. File starter. And that's pretty much it as far as the program itself goes. So what we're going to do now is we're going to go ahead and I'm going to jump in the car and we're going to go ahead and demonstrate a few things.
Limiter enabled.
So now we're in the car. We're just in a practice session here. I'm just going to pull out of the pits so that way we can run through a couple of commands here real fast. Okay, so now we're out of the pits. I'm going to go ahead and tell it to basically clear tires, clear fuel, and you can kind of see what it does. No tires.
Wheels stay on.
No fuel.
No gas.
See, automatically text. Full service.
Tires, fuel, and tear off.
So it makes it handy there. So let's go ahead and I'm just gonna go and pull out here on the track. Then that way we can do a lap and you can see what it says here. Nice thing is it's pretty quiet. Obviously we're in a test session, so we don't have anybody to, you know, base our stuff off of. You know, there's no car high, no car low. It gets a little more detailed than Crew Chief, in my opinion. Talking here any second.
Impressive stuff. You did the best lap time. 21.251.
With the wall, but you can see what it kind of rattles off at you. Like I said, there's a lot of various stuff that it can give you. But now that we actually have stuff in the log, I can show you that really quick. But you can see it'll tell you various different things. It tells you the confidence at which you call for various stuff, so that the higher the number, the better it is. So as you can see, it's still getting used to my voice. It will rattle off anything to do with the weather. So that is, you know, to me, the more information, the better. So that's Digital Race Engineer in a nutshell. I really suggest you test it out. I've been really happy with it. I've talked to a few guys in the iCrash community, and I've got them playing with it now. If it's too much information, remember, you can always take information away. So if you find something that you don't need, just go into the settings, turn it off, make your adjustments. If there's something that you're looking for or don't know how to change it, I suggest the Discord is a good helpful tool. Yeah, give it a shot, see what you think. Let me know down in the comments. Am I crazy? Is it too much? Would you rather just stick with the iRacing one? But yeah, let me know what you think, and give it a shot if you race. I think you'd be pleasantly surprised. So on that note, guys, we'll catch you on the next one.